Welcome to Board Game Binge, the place where we bring you bite-sized, bingeable board game content across the industry. I'm your host, James Staley, and in this episode, we're chatting with Nathan Lundgaard from Pick Up and Play Games. Nathan's debut title, Bananarchy, a monkey-themed party card game, is currently on Kickstarter. Nathan, welcome to the binge. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, James. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, it's awesome having you. I got to tell you, Nathan, a couple of things got me to reach out to you right away. One, Canadian, right? So go
Yes.
Canada. Obviously, had to reach out to you. And the second was just the name of this game, Bananarchy. Number one, try to say that 10 times fast. But it looked like a lot of fun. And like the illustrations and the video and how it kind of ties you in, and this whole kind of thing of a turn-based game where taking your turn is actually optional, which I thought was kind of cool. So we're going to get into
Yeah.
the game in a second, and I think that people should check it out. It's actually a pretty funny little game you set up here. But like, how did you guys start? So talk to me a little bit about pick up and play games. I believe there's four of you that are kind of involved in some kind of structure. So how's that structured?
Yeah, absolutely. So the beginning of the story was actually after a game night. So I've been playing games since I was a little kid. I grew up with them, everything from, treble, risk, chess, crib, didn't matter, all the ones that you would grow up with. And I had gone out this would have been probably late university, my early 20s. I'd gone out to play a games night and we were playing Catan, and it took an hour for it to go around to come back to my turn. I played it in 2 minutes, and it took another hour to go around the table and come back. And I
Painful.
went
Yeah.
home and I was looking at my roommates and pulling out my hair, and I'm like, can we not just make a game where I never have to wait my turn?
Yeah.
So basically, that was the genesis of it all. And I called up a couple friends and I said, hey, would you like to just come over, have fun? Let's try to make a game where I don't have to wait my turn. So literally, we just set up in my basement. I had pencils and paper and we wrote on little sheets of paper like different random cards,
Yeah.
and we had numbers in the center of the circle we were trying to collect. So it's similar to what it is now, but initially I actually had like a board and you were trying to slam dunk bananas into these barrels and move them
Mhm.
around the board. And my buddy's like, we don't need a board. Let's just collect the points. And I was like, okay, cool. And so that's kind of the genesis. It was literally in the basement of my house for fun, and we would just do it every other weekend when we had time to make a
Oh, that's
game.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy that you said Catan instead of Catan like firstly, because I'm a Canadian. I always say Catan. I cringe when people say Catan, but I know there's this big debate out over there.
Hmm.
I feel very similarly. I played Catan probably to death with friends and
Hmm.
family, and that's the part with my OCD that I would just it was the excruciating part is sometimes, especially as you get later into that game.
Hmm.
If you have somebody that has analysis paralysis, you could literally be sitting there for an hour before it comes back to you.
Yeah.
I actually don't even play it anymore for that exact reason. So I gravitate myself towards kind of simultaneous games or
Hmm.
games that allow you to do things while other people are doing their turn. My favorite is probably Space Base for that
Oh
exact
yeah,
reason,
yeah.
right?
Good
So
game.
you're rolling dice, you're impacting your turn, but everyone else gets to benefit from those dice as well and do something when it's not their turn, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So you guys are West Coast, are you?
Yeah, so actually, all of us are originally from Kelowna. So
Mm,
three of us still live here.
nice.
My one co-business partner that we brought on a little bit later to help with the launch of the business, he actually lives part-time in Canada and part-time wherever the heck in the world he is. So right now he's back here, but he was living in Thailand. So
Oh wow.
um, yeah, so it's super cool having the ability to like work anywhere. We just have to jump on a call and we can
Oh,
work on
totally.
whatever we're working on for the day. So.
Kelowna's beautiful too, right? Like that is just
Yeah.
I absolutely love the Okanagan Valley, I guess what you call it, right? With the
Correct.
yeah, the lake there. I've been there several times. Just absolutely beautiful. What do you guys do like as like because imagine like this is your debut title, so
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys probably have jobs outside of this. Like what is it kind of the career kind of mix amongst the team?
This is a extremely good question. So two of us, myself and Mel, both do not have jobs anymore.
No.
Yes, but that was by choice a little
Hmm.
bit. So for myself, during COVID, I actually worked at a gym, which is
Mm,
kind of an odd place to work during COVID because everything was shutting down and there was all these rules and regulations. But I had a really great time interacting. I really love interacting with people.
sure.
So it was really cool when it restarted up to get it back going again and talk to all the new faces coming in. But because COVID had hit, I'd been like, oh, you know what? I really have all these things on my bucket list I'd wanted to do that I couldn't do. So I wanted to travel and I wanted to do my own business and I couldn't do that. So post COVID, I decided to go traveling. I quit my job. And when I came back, I was like, you know what? I really don't want to go back to doing something for somebody else. I want to do something that I'm really excited about. So I thought, this is the time. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make this game. It's not going to take me long at all. And sure enough, that's not exactly how that works.
Sure. And what did like so often like when we'll see different business partners that are kind of jumping in, there's four of you.
Yeah.
Usually each person's bringing something different to the table.
Yeah.
So is there like someone that's handling the business side, someone handling more the creative, someone handling
Yes.
more game design? Like how did you guys kind of parse that out and who's doing what?
Great question. So for myself, I did both. So I'm the lead game designer as well as the main business lead.
Hmm.
My partner Mel, who we brought on after he was one of the first game testers and really loved the game, but he had a coding job and he still does that sort of on the side.
Mm,
But he lost he got laid off during a big tech
yeah.
layoff. And so he's like, I want to do something different too. So he jumped on the team as my business and tech support guy. And my two friends that I made the game with, Joe and Rob, they are more of the game design side. So they've been people that I've been playing games with since I was young. They grew up playing games. So they were integral to actually creating the mechanics for the game.
Mm. And what was that process like? Like what did they go through to try to figure out or like again, I don't want to answer for you, but I know that often when people are starting out and they're trying to work through the mechanisms of things like
Mhm.
this, what was that process for you guys? Like, what did you guys do to try to refine that down?
So the base idea needed quite a bit of refinement actually, and we thought, we had something good. And if you're a game designer out there, as soon as you hit that first playtest table, things never go the way you plan.
Yeah.
So for us, we did a lot of refinement together, but where we really started getting the game to be that gem was when we took it out and started playing at a local game test nights. So we just
Mm,
had a copy that was like written on paper. We'd sleeved it and we would just take it out and play it with people. And we'd get all kinds of interesting feedback. One of the first things I remember changing was we had minus ones actually in the deck of cards. And
mm.
what would happen is people would draw three of those and they'd basically flip the table on us. And we said, okay, we got to fix that right now. So we took them out, we put them on the back side of the scoring cards so that now they can only become minus if somebody smashes them. And you're not feeling like, oh God, I've lost so many points when I tried to get ahead. So little things like that we could have only found through playtesting. And so we did local game nights. I would take it out to local conventions and I would just play it with whoever would want to play with me. And a lot of people were like, yeah, we really like that idea, but it's missing this or it's missing that. And I think anybody who has never play tested before, this is the number one tip I can give you. Get out there and play test with people. You want that feedback.
Absolutely. All right. So when you're doing local conventions, is this like in Kelowna? Or you, because you can drive to Vancouver from Kelowna. I mean, you go down through the mountains, right?
Yeah, when we started out, so we actually started designing this game over 10 years ago when we were
Holy
just doing it for
smokes.
fun. Yeah, and we were initially going to launch it right when COVID hit. So when the world shut down, we were like, okay, we don't know what's going on. The factories are closing down. Let's just shelve it for a while. But at that time, we were just really doing local to Kelowna. So we would drive maybe down to Penticton. There was an event down there, or do the local, it was Kelowna Fan Expo at the time, and we'd go to
Hmm.
do that, or just local game nights. They had one every week at the library, and we'd go to that. Um, but post COVID, we've been taking it a lot more places. So I took it to the biggest one I took it to was Terminal City Tabletop Convention, and that's in Vancouver.
Mm.
And that was an absolute blast. So I was down there. I ended up being by myself. I was supposed to have a friend, but his tooth got pulled the day before, and so he wasn't available. So I dressed up as a banana. I had this giant yellow banana costume, and I would stand at the table and I would be like, "Hey, do you want to come play a game all about monkeys and bananas with me?" And I had my giant monkey Ted with me.
Yeah.
And so we would sit down and we just play games with everybody who was coming through. And Terminal City is really a great place for you to develop your game
Yeah.
because they have what's called Proto Alley for prototype games.
Sure.
And there's people in all stages of design and they have their little booth and you can go play with them and then actually provide feedback right then and there. So that's super cool.
So it's almost like an unpub, like you would see down in the States where they have the room off to the side where they're, again,
Yeah.
playtesting. People can come in and play test and give the feedback.
Yeah, so it was really nice the way they set it up. So it was at the Vancouver Convention Center, and they took like the main aisle where everybody would walk down, they lined it with all of these
Okay.
different games. So you're getting lots of exposure. People are walking right past you.
Yeah.
But the rest of the place, they had everything from there were other publishers that were much bigger selling their games. They had a whole section to play games. They had D&D. They had all kinds of stuff. So I think there were over 3,000 people there, and there was no way I could talk to them all. But standing there in the yellow banana,
Yeah.
people actually started using me as a landmark. They were like, "Hey, turn left at the yellow banana. Come find us to play games." So I think if nothing else, it was a good way to get out, meet people, and also to interact with other people in the industry because lots of people had really good feedback about the game based on what they were doing or how they design games.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that kind of stuff is just invaluable as a designer, uh, especially networking in the community. Everybody has so many different experiences.
Yeah.
You can learn so much from people just by talking to them, seeing what they're building, how they build it, how they think about the mechanics, how they think about setting up and designing the game or the art.
Yeah.
It's absolutely invaluable.
Oh, for sure. How long you guys been gaming for? Like, obviously you're talking about Catan. Again, I'm
Yeah.
gonna say Catan, not Catan for all you linguistic haters out there. But
Yeah.
uh, like that was kind of the culmination of like bridging you into getting into game design. But kind of take me back before that. Like, were you gaming as a kid? Was there other influences in terms of the hobby gaming industry?
Yes, I have been gaming myself personally since I was little, and I think pretty much the two other game designers that I work with also have been gaming since they were really young. It was only my business partner. He plays games, but he wasn't as big into it until later. But when I started, I grew up playing games with my family.
Mm,
So we would play Crib or Crazy Eights or golf, all these little like actual card games. We played chess. I grew up playing chess. I was good at it then. I'm terrible at it now. But I think I also like tinkering with design. So I used to make games just as a kid. Now they were terrible back then, but I would just make them for my friends to play. I remember at one time, way back when Civilization, the computer game, was coming out, I got really excited about it. And I actually set something up where I had a map and
mhm.
I would put little pieces on it and I would take pictures and I would email them to my friends and I'd say, "What would you want to do?" And they would email me back and I'd write a little story. Now, obviously, that was terribly inefficient, but I have been doing this just for fun, tinkering with it because I like the idea of designing something my own and seeing if I could change the way this worked, or does it work like better like this, or do people enjoy this more?
Mhm.
So I have been playing games since I was little. And then when I got into university, I actually joined the UBCO Games Club.
Oh,
And
you went to
at
UBC. Got it.
Yes. Yeah, so I went to UBC. I joined their games club. At some point, I became the president, and I would actually run events. So we did everything from Magic cards to,
Mm.
all of the different board games at the time. We played Warhammer. So I've been playing a lot since I was little, and it's always something I still do to this day. I still have a group of friends that I go pretty much weekly, and I play games with them. Um,
Before Bananarchy, did you tinker with design at all? Like, was there any earlier attempts that because I get this a lot when I talk to people, they're like, you
mhm,
know what, this was kind of when things finally clicked. But before that, tinkering and ideas and kind of working through concepts that maybe didn't flush out, but it got kind of their beak wet, so to speak, in terms of the design side.
mhm.
Was there other iterations of other things you worked on prior to this?
Um, well, aside from the ones I worked on as a young kid, which we never like, they were never going anywhere. No, actually.
Hmm.
And I'm surprised about this too because you think, oh, you're tinkering on stuff. But I did, prior to this, I did have a gentleman in our community who he used to work in video game design.
Mm.
And he at one point had set up a little group where he was trying to teach people about designing video games. So we had done this thing, he called it community game design, and it was basically just a group of us that would get together and he would talk about some game concept, and then he would give us some homework assignment, like maybe design a level or think about this mechanic or whatever, and we'd go home and we'd do a little bit of work. And it was all very part-time. It wasn't very coalesced into something. But
Yep.
I think I took a lot of learning from that about how to think about games. So there was something, for example, he talked about the game triangle where you have to balance the different sides of the triangle. So one would be the time it takes to do something. The one is like the cost it takes to do something, and the one is like the quality. And you have to balance these three things because if you put more time, you're going to have better quality, but it's going to cost more. So you had to balance these three things on the triangle. And concepts like that were actually invaluable to me in terms of thinking about how we were going to design the game and what things we wanted to keep in and what things we wanted to cut. So, no, I didn't design other games beforehand, but I did have some sort of um, overlapping influence that
It's
I.
an interesting thought. Like when you talk about the triangle, it's kind of like the when you're trying to make a product and you can
Mm,
make it fast, you can make it cheap, or
yeah,
you can make it good, right? And
yeah,
anytime you adjust one of those, it's going to impact the other. And you can
hmm
never do all of those. You got it's always about balance, right?
yeah. And people ask me this a lot, actually. They say, okay, how did you decide when it was done?
It's never done.
Um, it's never done, no, but like when it's good enough, right? And
Yeah.
I think that triangle really helped. I told my fellow designers, like on day one, I said, be ruthless, cut everything you think we don't need, and don't be afraid to tell me that I have a bad idea.
Yeah.
So, what if you remember at the beginning, we had that board and everything. I'd spent 8 hours, 10 hours designing this board and all the ways to move around it. The first thing my partner Rob did is he said, I don't think we need the board. And I was like, oh, you're killing me. I spent so long working on this. But if we hadn't cut that, it wouldn't be the fast, quick, easy game that we have today. So,
Yeah.
and it's the same in terms of design. Do I keep something that I really think is cool, but is most people are really frustrated by it? So you have to, I heard this phrase the other day, you have to kill your darlings. You really
Yeah.
have to think about what needs to be in the game and what you can let go.
I think it
It's
was
tough.
George Lucas that was actually famous for saying that, right? Is the
Maybe, yeah.
definition of a good director is someone who's willing, it might have been Spielberg actually. Maybe it's Lucas. So one of
Yeah.
them that said I think it's actually George Lucas that said a great director is willing to kill their favorite scene
hmm
for the sake of pacing and story.
Yeah.
And I think that's very similar to what you're talking about in terms of design, right? Is there's a lot of things you could put in there and
hmm
try to make it cool and all these extra little, bells and whistles, but at the end of the day, even though you may love it, if it's at the compromise of a good paced game that's interesting and keeping people engaged and it's fun along the way,
Yeah.
sometimes you got to do the right thing and cut it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there were a few things that came up that were like that, where you just had to think about, is this actually really adding value to my
Hmm.
game? And we tried extremely hard because when we were designing it, it was never intended to be something that we launched. We were doing it for fun. So one of the things that frustrated me about a lot of games that are similar in a way that take that genre, so say like Exploding Kittens or Unstable Unicorns, is that there can be a really, really swingy cards.
Yeah.
And there can also be cards that really keep people down. So I remember one of the first times I played Unstable Unicorns, for example, I was playing it with my two co-founders, and one of them just kept playing a card where the other person could never take a turn.
Mm.
And so the entire game, he just sat there, and it was not fun for him at all.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time thinking like, okay, this card is really cool. Like for example, a skip card. It's really, really cool. Like every game has one. But here it doesn't actually make a lot of sense for us because first of all, you can play at any time, so skipping a turn doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
And second, it's no fun to have your turn skipped, especially if you go all the way around in Uno, you get your turn skipped, then you go all the way around and it reverses, and you don't get to play the game at all. So we wanted to focus on something that was interactive, but it was hard for us to be like, well, everybody has a skip card, we should have one too. So it was
Hmm.
hard to like separate those things and be like, nope, we don't need that. It's not helping our game. We got to focus on what is helping our game.
So for those listening, can you walk us through using as descriptive language as possible, of course,
Mhm.
exactly how do you play Bananarchy? Like, what's this game about? How do you play it? Kind of what does like a typical kind of round look like, and
Mhm.
how does it conclude?
Absolutely. So the goal of Bananarchy is to collect the most points in bananas. So we have 0, 1, 2, and 3 bananas. And if you're really unlucky and someone smashes it, all of them turn to -1 on the back.
Mm.
So you're trying to do this before the banana deck runs out of cards. In order to do this, you're using what we call monkey cards, and there are four types of monkey cards. So there are action cards, which are the most powerful and can only be played on the active player's turn and only one per turn. Okay. We have anytime cards that anybody can play at any time to mess people up, and there's no limit to how many you can play on them. Okay, so things like smashing other people's banana would fit into
Mm.
that category. We have reaction cards. So those ones are the ones that allow you to cancel out somebody else's cards or maybe steal a banana that's changing hands and really cause chain reactions of cards. And finally, we have hidden scoring cards. So there are only four of these in the base game. There will be more in the expansions, but they allow you to keep them in your hand. They don't do anything for you during the game, but if you happen to have them at the end, they might add points. So either double the point value of a
Mm.
banana or add points based on some of your rotten bananas, make them worth points. So, in simple terms, you're a bunch of monkeys trying to get the most bananas while smashing and stealing everybody else's. So,
And
really
are you
simple.
shedding cards? Like, how does a round come to a conclusion?
Good question. The game plays really fast. So you pick one person who's the active player. Usually,
Yeah.
the first time we play, we say the last person who ate a banana. They can play their action card and their anytime cards. As soon as they choose to play, everybody can play. Okay. At the end of their turn, they'll refill their hand up to five and pass the turn on to the next person. So the rounds move pretty quickly as people are just playing and reshuffling, reloading their hands with more cards.
Yeah.
There is one other cool aspect, though, is that you can choose to stash a banana. So instead of taking your turn, you can give up all your hand of cards. You can take one banana, you can turn it sideways. It's safe. Nobody can steal it from you, smash it, take it. It's yours till the end of the game. And you pass the turn to the next person while you get five new cards. So there's this, while the game goes around really fast, there's
Mm.
this strategy where you're trying to steal somebody's maybe higher point value banana just before it's your turn so you can stash it away and lock it in until the end of the game. And for me, that's the part that I think is really interesting. When we added that piece, that final layer, that was the gem that took it to the next level of gameplay. Because before that, there was really no strategy at all. It was basically, could I get to the last turn, pull something off, draw that last banana, and end the game? But now you can sort of plan ahead, so you can try to save points and really. Then people are like, okay, well, I see he's got three saved. All the bananas, by the way, are public knowledge because monkeys are show-offs.
Yeah.
Um, so that idea where you're trying to balance, and I've seen lots of people doing math during this game where like, okay, they got three, I got five, that person's got six. Okay, I got to throw them a rotten -1, and just balancing it around the board. Um, to make those hard decisions. Okay, do I play a card now? Do I stash a banana now? Do I try to save this to play later? Is somebody going to look at my hand and steal it? I think it's those decisions that make the game interesting.
Hmm.
Um, and one quote that I kind of live by in my game design, this one's from Elon Lee. He's the creator of Exploding Kittens. He said, "The game shouldn't be the thing that is interesting. It should make the players around the table interesting to be with."
No, that's
And
cool.
yeah, so we really tried to emphasize that where when you're doing something, people are like, okay, well, they smashed my banana. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to go after them later. Or, oh, that person actually shielded me. I might try to do them a favor later when somebody attacks them. So we tried to make it interesting decisions about when I play, what I'm doing, even though it's a party game and there's still lots of luck and chaos involved. So anybody can win. You can plan ahead. You
Hmm.
can do all those wonderful things, and that makes the rounds very interesting.
So, given that we're talking about monkeys, is there like a
Yeah.
card that allows you to hurl your feces at someone, or?
Well, I think there's actually another game out there that is all about flinging poo. So as of right now, there's nothing for feces. That's not to say we won't create something for that.
Expansion pack, bad
Yeah,
monkey.
we would love to do a not safe for work edition because there are so many different monkey puns and banana puns that you
Sure,
could play on that would just be hilarious. But for now, our game we tried to keep it very focused on just monkey language. So we have things like
sure.
monkey mayhem or banana brouhaha or like those kind of fun monkey and banana related wordplay.
Yeah.
And I myself am a big history buff, so we put in things like we have a little banana general He's actually part of our Kickstarter campaign. He's hoarded away all of our stretch goals, and we have to liberate them from him. So he's one of the cards, Banana Republic. We have other cards that are Banana Manifesto. So things that I pull from that are just unique. And you have these little anthropomorphic monkeys
Yeah.
with their book and their writing that they're waving around to try to get everybody to believe in the banana sayings or the banana revolution. So we tried to keep it a little more generic at the beginning, but I
Hmm.
think as we go, we would like to create some things that are more chaotic.
For
I don't know
sure.
if you know the game Doomlings.
Yep.
That was one of our inspirations in terms of like their art is phenomenal, but they have also done so much where they've created totally new expansions that change the game a lot, and I think that would be really fun to do with our game. So,
Yeah. Who can you talk about the art? Because it's so fun, the art
mhm.
you've got in this game. And right away, like that was one of the things that pulled me in was it's just funny, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
really good art. So can you talk about that? Who did the art for this and what was the direction that you kind of gave them to get where you're at?
Yeah, so the art was actually one of our sticking points early on. It was really difficult. And I mean, we weren't game designers per se at the
Hmm.
beginning. We didn't know a lot about it. So initially, we had asked a bunch of friends to do it. And if I have to give advice to anybody looking for art, forget about your friends unless they are like professional and do this for a career.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between being able to draw a picture one time and being able to replicate that picture for 40 pieces of art that you need,
With
right?
consistency and character
Yeah.
design and things like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So after we'd gone through sort of exploring that, I ended up at the time there was a gal here who used to work for Disney Club Penguin.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so we got connected with her. I don't even remember how somebody introduced us to her, and she agreed to come out and meet with us. And we said, "Hey, this is kind of what we're thinking. Are you able to do this?" And she said, "Absolutely. Let's pick a day. We'll sit down. You give me all your ideas of what you think the characters should be. I'll draw a bunch of sketches. I will send them to you. You can pick the ones you like, and we will create them into cards."
Mm.
And she did a phenomenal job. Her name's Rachel Boyce. She actually was living in Kelowna. Now she lives in Vancouver, so she's Canadian as well.
Mm.
And so she did all of the art for our base game. And it's phenomenal. If you've ever seen Club Penguin, it's a very similar vector sort of
Style.
style,
Yeah.
shaded. Um, but it works really well for the characters. I think it really makes them seem cheeky and animated and dynamic, and she did a very good job of that.
Yeah.
Um, so at COVID, she had a family, and so when we restarted doing all the stuff, she said, "I'm not really interested in continuing doing the art for you, but you're welcome to get somebody to do it for us." So now we've hired a few other people that can replicate the art, and they are continuing that same design. And
Mm.
I think I'm super, super happy with how it looks.
Yeah, it looks great. I'm just looking at it on screen here and you couldn't like I wouldn't be able to tell that these are different artists. I would have assumed it's the same artist all the way through, which is
Hmm.
good because you got the consistency.
Which is difficult sometimes to find.
Yeah, oh totally. So like what's your next steps as a company? Like what have you guys
Mhm.
decided? Like are you guys going to be like full-time publishers moving forward? Is there another game in the works? Like kind of what's the plan from here?
Good question. I think we definitely want to keep designing games forever.
Mm,
And that's what I would love my job to be. This is really a passion of mine, and every day
yeah.
when I wake up to work on it, I really enjoy it. So our goal is to keep control of the game and to continue to publish new games in the future. We don't have anything specifically planned for new titles because we've been so focused on
Mm,
building the expansions and the universe of Bananarchy. I think
hmm.
there's a lot left to do here. Um, and I think it would also be interesting to explore. I've had a few people reach out during the campaign. I'm part of a bunch of board game design groups, and people have been reaching out to say, "Hey, how did you do this? And would you be interested in checking out my games?" So I think it might be fun to actually try working with other people and, helping them get their ideas out there, whether that's something that we publish with them or whether that's something we just help them and mentor them to do.
Hmm.
I think those things would all be fun. But to be very honest, we are so focused on wrapping up our Kickstarter campaign that we haven't spent as much time thinking about what we're going to do next quite yet. So,
Oh wow.
yeah.
And then this was part of Micro May. Can you just explain exactly what Micro May was for those who don't know?
Yeah. Micro May is a program that is run through Kickstarter, and so it's a group of people with small box indie design games for the most part, and they group you all together and sort of help give a little bit extra of a push. So you can actually find Micro May tab in Kickstarter, and you can find all the games that were a
Mm.
part of it. So the goal is everybody tries to launch in May and then support each other. So we would share each other's campaigns, or we would a lot of us did a $1 pledge for each other because there's like 50 games, you can't
Yeah.
pledge for them all. Um, and it was a really good way to even before leading up, you could go in, you could talk with other designers, and you could bounce ideas. What are you guys doing for this? How are you promoting this? What are you planning to do after? How are you handling logistics or production or whatever? And some of them have had quite a lot of experience. So I think it was a really invaluable tool, but it's also really good if you're just a small creator. So some of the games were not funding for a lot of money, and it would have been really hard to find those games at all
Hmm.
if they had just launched on their own. So it's a really good way if you're maybe not looking for a career in board games, but you still want to get your little board game off the ground and out into the world. It's a good way to raise a little bit of money that way as well.
Oh,
Um,
totally.
yeah,
That's
so I
so
think it's a
cool.
super cool initiative.
For those who want to check this out, and I encourage people to do it, when this episode is airing, I believe there's going to be 48 hours left. Are you guys doing a late pledge on this, by the way?
Yes, there will be late pledges. Yeah.
Awesome. So if you're listening to this episode after the campaign's closed, check it out for late pledge. But you guys have hit $38,000. I can put this in Canadian dollars. It's the only way I can see it.
Yeah.
675 backers. Congrats on that. That's amazing, man.
Thank
For
you.
your debut title, you guys are crushing it. I wish I could have met the whole team because clearly there's a lot of creative minds that have kind of come together to put this into play.
Yeah,
But obviously you're here to represent the group, and I want to extend my well wishes to everyone. So if you could extend it to everyone on my behalf,
absolutely.
I'd appreciate that. I want to wish you all the best in this campaign, my friend.
Thank you so much, James. I appreciate you having me on.
No worries, buddy. You take care. Cheers.
Cheers.
This has been an episode of the Board Game Binge podcast, hosted by James Staley, produced by James Staley and Mike Bruner, with original music by Nick Smith. If you would like to watch these interviews live, simply subscribe to our YouTube channel, Board Game Binge, and you'll get access to live interviews, giveaways, and interesting board game content from across the industry. I can't wait for you to join us. See you next time.